We're on your side with tonight's cover story, a trip to remember. From World War II to the War on Terror, the best of us got on airplanes in service of our country. They didn't know if they'd make it back home in the shape they left, or even if they'd make it back at all. Many who did survive the battles they were asked to fight packed up their uniforms when they got home and stored away the memories, only rarely bringing them out. About 80 of those veterans recently got back on a plane, and together they headed to our nation's capital. For most of them, it would be the first time seeing the monuments and memorials put up in their honor and in the honor of the friends they lost. The trip made possible by Queen City Honor Flight. Photojournalist Jordan Sawyers and I had the privilege of going along. On an early morning Saturday, a group of common men who did uncommon things set off on a trip long overdue. They headed to Washington to see the places built for them.
This is truly a humble and an amazing trip.
Nico Ionelli is the director for Queen City Honor Flights.
It's a humbling day. I mean, it's an emotional day.
Each veteran walking onto and then off this plane has a story, one that all too often they just kept to themselves.
You just didn't talk about it because nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody wanted to listen to you.
Jim Hood was a Marine in Vietnam.
I was on the DMZ in '68 during Tet Offensive.
Visiting the Corps' memorial for the first time, he was thinking of his 8 friends lost.
Can you describe to someone, as a young person today who would have no idea what that is like? How do you describe it?
I don't know that you can. It's just hard to describe. It really is. I'm proud I did it. I did it for the country. I did it for my family.
Family. This journey was a time for that as well. Grandchildren, daughters, and sons escorting their parents, sharing the moments.
I'm so proud of my son.
Like Bob and Peter Christ, a Navy dad, a Marine, and Army son.
I got a welcome home. I came home from Iraq and other deployments, and I always got a welcome home, but he didn't always get a welcome home when he came back from different places.
And they were clapping and thanking us out loud. It overwhelms me. We think our country is bad, but there's an awful lot of good people still in this country.
A lot of those good people were at every stop, pausing, cheering, clapping.
Thank you.
For the now smaller number of World War II vets, like James Deal.
What does that mean to you?
Oh man, I just puts me on cloud 9.
But those crowds were also there for those who served in the forgotten war in Korea, and for those who deserved better after Vietnam. Veterans like Bill Peterson. He was on the Charlotte flight and was able to cross paths once again with an old friend.
We met in school a long time ago, and we joined the service in the 60s, and then we went overseas.
Charlie Devine was on the honor flight from South Florida. They hadn't seen each other in more than 30 years.
So Charlie waves, and he says, "You're right there." He walks up to me, we hug, and we cry.
Yeah. Like the 32 years melted away.
Oh, like it did.
Like in a second.
Like in a second, and we're so honored to be here.
It was a moment to cherish, but also a time to honor a friend they lost, Terrence Courtney.
So
He
was
shot down in Enlock in 1972, and he was flying a C-119 gunship.
This is one of the best days ever to come here and talk a heartfelt story about somebody.
Really emotional.
It's really emotional, 32 years, and you don't find that often, that people can let their hearts out and to tell you, and just seeing this and showing his distinguished flying cross, we're real proud.
Just down the wall was Mike Stubbs. He helps organize these trips.
We're walking to panel 28 East. That's where 64 men died on the same day.
He was a hero in Vietnam, a recipient of the Silver Star.
October the 17th, 1967, the Battle of Ong Thang. It was an amazing thing. 140 of us walked into 1,400 of the enemy, 10-to-1 odds.
And on every honor flight, he stops right here to see these names.
Why is that so important for you to come back and always pay respect?
Because these young, like I said, they're young men. I'm one of the lucky ones. I made it home. I got to come home. I got to have a family, a wonderful family.
Remembering, honoring, healing.
but it gives them, you know, here we are 50 years later on what I did was with a purpose.
Yeah.
And start sharing, saying it's the first time that they started talking, telling stories, feeling a little bit more open, or getting the help that they need.
Yeah, Sloop was his last name.
You saw it all in the pictures, the sounds, and the silence.
Oh!
And in the end, it was a day that came full circle. An honor well deserved. And for those who never got it, a welcome home. Finally, a welcome home. An incredible day, an incredible experience, and we're going to share more for you next Friday night on Veterans Day, so stick around for that next week. Tell us your thoughts as well. You can connect with us on Instagram and Twitter. Use the hashtag OYSTonight. You can also scan the QR code. It takes you to our mobile menu where you can tap us out an email. Quite an experience, a well-deserved honor for all of those incredible veterans, again, to be finally welcomed home.